Guys, today's tip, I want to talk about leadership in small business. The small business leader, to be successful, has to keep his or her eyes on a lot of things at one time. This video is focused on providing you with some tips and solid techniques to help you juggle all of those balls that you guys have up in the air. So first of all, I want you to pay attention to your public presence. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. You've heard it, I've heard it, we've all heard that saying, but it's true. There are several public perception things that you should constantly focus on and monitoring. And they're easy, guys, and I'm gonna break them down, but it's your website. If you don't have one, get one. Recruiting talented workers, turnover of employees, client relations, validation, and humility. Sounds silly, but let me explain. I'm going to break these 6 tips down. Let's talk about your business website. It's all about the experience. It really is. You're watching my videos. It's about the experience. Does your website clearly paint a picture of what you do? Is it easy to navigate? Can people easily contact you? I've got to improve that on my website. Does your website load quickly? Spend some money on it, guys. Get it right. Don't do it yourself. Pay an expert. People these days are impatient. They'll wait a few seconds. Slow loading website, boom, they're gone. Streamline your website so that it loads quickly, gives visitors clear access to what you do and what you provide for a service. Recruiting talented employees. Yeah, this is a tough one. You never want to be that guy who treats his or her employees poorly or pays minimum wage. If you got good talent, pay them. Hiring talented employees can be daunting. I go through it, I've been in there, we've all done it. You need to advertise, you need to request resumes, take the time to interview people, and most importantly, call the references on these resumes. Make sure they're not just blowing smoke. The best advice that I can give you guys here, the best predictor of possible employees' future performance is to look at their past behavior. And guys, that means you got to either know what they've done in the past or you've got to interview people and talk to people they've worked for. So you've got to follow up on the resume. Once you've selected someone, you got to make an offer, and make an offer that's fair and worth their time. Don't insult people, and respect people for what they do. Pay them a competitive wage and pay them well. Build in incentives, think about stipends and other benefits that increase with performance. The better they get, the more the tenured they get, the more benefits or pay they might get. So many small business leaders do not pay paid holidays, personal days, sick days, or vacation days. That's wrong. If you want good help and you want people to stay with you, you've got to take care of them. I do the math when I hire someone, and I try to figure out what's 2 weeks vacations worth and what will it cost me in wages. And then I offer that to my employees after they've been employed long enough for me to recover or build up that expense. It's usually about 6 months before I gain that, and then I let them have 2 weeks vacation. You can think about gas card stipends, education stipend, whatever you need to motivate possible future employees. One contractor I know offers his lead carpenter a percentage of the job profit for every day the project is completed ahead of schedule. We're not cutting corners here. He's got to do it right. If you use my friend's example, if the company's labor cost for a project is $300 per man hour day, per man day, and the company invoices $600 per man day, offering your lead carpenter $200 a day for every day he's finished ahead of time is a win for him, and it's $700 a day for you. So he gets $200, you get $700, everyone wins. Once you get talented folks on board, it's really time to facilitate them in their work. And this is leadership that I'm talking about. You need to recognize good work, maintain continuity, encourage continued education, and safety training. Let's talk about turnover. This is a tough one. Turnover of talented employees can be devastating to an employee. I know it crushes me. Small remodeling company, I can't afford to lose guys. Replacing talented people is costly and time consuming. First and foremost, just treat your people with respect. Poor management is probably the single most reason why employees leave a company. Paying attention to what your employees need on and off the job is important. You need to know your people. Sometimes employee issues, grievances, or negative perceptions can be addressed and cleared with an honest and frank discussion. You need to always allow your employees an opportunity to air their grievances prior to any corrective discussions, employment discussions. You need to hear their side of the story. You might learn something, or they may simply feel better getting something off of their chest, right? We all do. But you gotta let them air their grievance or hear them out. Competitive wages is important, but not always at the top of people's minds either, or an employee's list. For example, I hired a guy and he didn't have a van, and I wanted him to have a van with tools. So I paid him $5 more an hour. That's $200 a week, $800 a month. It was more than enough to buy a van and pay for gas every week. Many times employees just want to be valued, or they want a modified schedule. Maybe they need medical or retirement benefits, or maybe they just want to be on a regular payroll deduction versus getting a 1099 every year, which sucks if they got to take taxes out. The regular payroll deduction being on the books has become a big thing with young carpenters because they want to build a future, guys. They want to build credit. They want to buy a car. They're going to get married, buy a home. They need it. They need to be on the books. And we want to have workers' comp on them. We should, as good leaders. A lot of leaders make mistakes of paying employees as subcontractors when really that's just to avoid taxes, and we all know it. Don't do that. Let's talk about client relations, because having goodwill of your customer is key. Take the time to regularly communicate with your client, your current and past clients. Strive to obtain what I call FaceTime with them. And what I mean by FaceTime, well, first of all, FaceTime has been proven to lead to referrals, extra projects, continued additional work. No doubt about it. I bet my week's check on it. On this point, I want to point out that you need to clearly communicate to your clients and do what you promise to do. Follow through. Start this off with a detailed and written construction proposal and work from there. Everything's got to be in writing. It's got to be detailed. Take the time to do it right. Validation. And what I mean by validation, are you really a top-notch leader? Are you what you think you are? If you really want to know, ask your employees what they think your best qualities are and how you have helped them. And just listen. Look for common denominator statements and positive statements that are based on leadership skills, such as maybe you're facilitative, you coach, you develop them, maybe you're supportive, innovative, your vision, positive and supportive, or something like that. If your employees are quick to answer your question, you're probably doing things right. If they struggle to come up with an answer, then you might need to look closer in the mirror and reevaluate some of your approaches. No one said being a small business leader or boss would be easy, but it can be one of the greatest jobs in the world. Trust me. I want to talk about being humble. It's important. Being humble means know your strengths and don't brag. Most importantly, practice humility, right? So don't brag, practice humility. And that means admitting what you don't know. One of the most admirable traits is being able to admit that you don't have all the answers. I don't. I ask my guys all the time. And most important, don't make stuff up. People see right through that. Here's another thing too, is learn from your competitors. And I call my competitors friendly competitors because we're usually friends. I see them at the lumberyard. Look at other successful businesses and study them. What do they do well? No matter how good you are, there's always something to learn or a faster, more efficient, methodical system, technique, or material to use. Learning from your competition and even opening meaningful win-win dialogue, communications with these folks, it can really lead you to many new and innovative opportunities. I've learned a ton from guys that I compete with all the time. Help others. Reach out and look for opportunities to use your skills and resources to help people. it'll pay back in dividends. Whether you volunteer, provide services to someone in need, make a donation, it all helps. Every year we try to do a project. One of them is called Build America. Talk about that more later. Look for answers. Someone once gave me advice and said, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. And I thought about that for a minute. I was like, what does that mean? Well, to me that meant when faced with a problem, stop, dump it on the workbench, roll up your sleeves, and start looking for a solution. Sometimes it's the weird, wild, crazy idea that's the best solution. So be a problem solver, not a whiner. Nobody wants a whiner. You can go sit in the truck for the rest of the night. Ask questions. Ask, and ask more questions. There's always something to learn, and there's always somebody to teach. Read up on your businesses and your business. Take classes, explore new ideas, management and production techniques. Look at those. How can you be better at that stuff? Ask for and solicit others for opinions, viewpoints, and encourage employees to share fresh ideas. You'll be surprised what they come up with. And a small business owner, a leader, I should say, is one who seeks to learn and improve even when they think and feel that things are good. And I'll leave you guys on that. I'll see you guys at the next tip. Have a great night. We'll see you around.